Good evening, I'm Sean Duffy.
And I'm Kelly O'Grady in for Dagan McDowell. Welcome to The Bottom Line.
Yeah, welcome to The Bottom Line. Thanks for joining me.
Thank
Good to have you. All right, 2023 was the year American corporations, they went woke and they paid the price. As we close out the year, we wanted to look back at some of the cringiest, most embarrassing examples of corporate virtue signaling and, of course, the massive consumer backlash against it.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't start off with this gem. I mean, who could forget Bud Light's ill-fated marketing campaign featuring transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney and the revolt it caused among beer drinkers nationwide? Sean, you know you don't want to piss them off.
You do not want to make them angry.
Because in short time, the beer brand's year-on-year sales dropped 17%, losing the title of being the best-selling beer in the U.S., a position it held, by the way, for 2 decades.
Long time. But the genius who came up with the Bud idea, they didn't emerge unscathed. 2 executives, they were put on leave, and another lost his job following the debacle.
And then we had the downfall of Disney. The House of Mouse rounded out the year riding on a string of controversies, including box office flops and high-profile political feuds with Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis. The company even admitted, this is when you know it's bad, in an SEC filing, it faces, quote, risks relating to misalignment with public and consumer tastes as a result of their shenanigans.
And when the Duffy family cancels Disney Plus, it's not good for Disney. Needless to say, going woke and going broke was a theme, not just a meme in 2023. From Target's controversial pride displays to Victoria's Secret's inclusive and diverse marketing brands, even Santa went woke this year.
I said this is her body, and she's in control of her body. And I asked if she wanted to sit on my lap, and she said no. And I said, way to stand up for yourself, and way to say what you believe is true.
Yay, I love that.
Now, admittedly, I do think Joe Biden could have taken a page out of that Santa's book. But if you're a Debbie Downer, you might look at this, shake your head, and lament over the pre-woke days of yore. But you'd be reading this all wrong.
This year was the year that American consumers, they took their voice back. They voted with their wallets and forced woke corporations into retreat by winning one culture war after another. And for that, America, we applaud you.
Well, here now with reaction, Strive Asset Management co-founder and president and former Anheuser-Busch executive, Anson Frericks. Anson, thank you for joining us today. I'm really interested to get your take on this because your company's portfolio, or your former company's portfolio, included Bud Light. And when I saw this decision on something where beer, light beer, it's not very differentiated besides the brand, I was shocked at the fact that there wasn't that prioritization of shareholders. But what's your take on why consumers are pushing back with their wallets now?
Yeah, Kelly, thanks for having me tonight. I think it's pretty simple. Consumers are pushing back because they've had enough of corporations telling them how to think, telling them what to do. At the end of the day, they want companies just to make them money. That's it, simple. And you're seeing a lot of pushback that's happening right now on these corporations because companies like Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch, they've lost shareholders a lot of money this year. Still, the stock is down from April 1st when they did the partnership with Dylan Mulvaney. You take a look at Disney. Disney stock is off by half from 2 years ago when they pushed back on the parental rights bill in Florida. You have companies like Coca-Cola that a couple years ago got involved in trying to overturn Georgia election integrity laws that were just asking people to have an ID to vote. Their stock hasn't been performing that well relative to their peers either. And so finally, people are seeing that when companies get involved in these social and political issues that have nothing to do with their mission and their stock price plummets, that's bad for these companies. That's bad for people that are relying on them just to make the money so they can retire with dignity. So that's where I think you're seeing the biggest pushback is people, they just want companies to focus on business, focus on making the money, period. That's it.
So, Anson, take us into the mind of a woke corporation because obviously the consumers push back. It's hurt their bottom line. So I wonder, are these companies actually going to truly change course and leave the woke in 2023? Or are they just going to do a better job of hiding their woke politics? Have they had a wake-up call? Or is it like, no, I'm still a believer in being a wokester, but I'm just going to hide it from those consumers who don't like it?
Well, let's take a look. Let's follow the money again. I mean, let's take a look at who's the largest shareholder in almost every single Fortune 500 company in the U.S. It's BlackRock.
Yes.
BlackRock is the largest asset manager in the United States, almost $10 trillion worth of capital. They're the ones that adopted this idea of stakeholder capitalism in the first place, which is very different than the shareholder capitalism that says companies want to make money. Stakeholder capitalism, which BlackRock is the biggest proponent of, says companies that they have to advance the interests of all stakeholders. That can be politicians, that can be political operatives, that can be activists. And it's that company, BlackRock, which is the one this year, they have said in a silent retreat that they're going to move away from divisive politics. They're not going to ask companies to advance an ESG or environmental social governance agenda. That's really in name only, though, because if you take a look at how they vote proxy statements for companies to do things like do racial equity audits at Apple, or do certain issues like vote for PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, who put up a proposal this year at Starbucks to remove milk from their menus. They're still advancing a lot of these initiatives in the boardroom. It might not just be as vocal about it, but BlackRock is the one that is still front and center, forcing companies to advance these social and political issues. So as long as BlackRock is still there, and as long as they're advocating for these companies to do it, they might not be as vocal and as outspoken about it, but you can rest assured in the boardroom, they're making decisions that are going to probably hurt their shareholders in the long run.
Just a quick follow-up. I've got about 20 seconds here, Anson, but do you think this is irreparable? Because we've seen Bud, we've seen Disney try and change the messaging, but consumers, they don't seem to be getting it. Your thoughts?
You know, it takes a long time to build a brand. I mean, a lot of these big corporations, a lot of these, call it these consumer packaged goods companies, it takes hundreds of years to build brands with companies. You think about Coca-Cola, you think about Bud Light. These are brands that have been around for a very, very long time. And, you know, unfortunately, it takes a real long time to build a brand and build a reputation. It can take one marketing campaign to, unfortunately, undo all that goodwill. And we're seeing that happen right now. So, unfortunately, I think the road to recovery is a long one for a lot of these companies that have gotten involved in these sort of divisive social political issues.
So, Anson, I'm going to make the pitch for you. If you want to get your money out of the wokesters at BlackRock, you can go to Strive Capital, where Anson is at, along with Vivek Ramaswamy. We appreciate you, Anson, joining us on the show. And thanks for keeping up the fight.
Thank you. You said it best for me. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me tonight.
Merry Christmas.